Hey everybody, it's tequila time, and it's been a busy day. Happens to be Veterans Day. I had the day off, and got a notice that Lalo Goinzalez was going to be in town Friday, and forgot that I had Monday off. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. So get ready to leave the house, and on the door, and somebody delivered something. And for all those Agave Social Club members like me, I got something from the last person we talked to on our monthly set. I got a delivery. Like, cool, I needed that, and I went on my merry way and went to UnKCorked in Overland Park, and Ian and his staff let me in the door, got my camera going, and so we're gonna come in at the beginning of Lalo Goinzalez talking about his tequila. I'm over getting my camera ready, and he starts talking, and I'm like, oh shit, I ain't ready yet. So anyway, got over there, and we got talking. He talked about what his grandfather did, and how his grandfather started making tequila, and how the Don Julio brand was started by his father, to commemorate his Lalo's grandfather. So, and how that all went about, and then why they did what they did as far as selling it, and why he started his to do, and so on and so forth. So this is all in this video upcoming. I did get, while I was there, I did get one bottle, and of course I had to have it signed, but I got me a bottle of the new Highproof, signed by Lalo Goinzalez himself. So we will be getting into this here after a bit, and then special little present to a special lady, girl in my life, girl, and she knows who she is. Got her a little present. She'll get this before she sees this video. So, graduating nursing school, very proud of her. And so got her a little something, and signed by Mr. Lalo himself. And so we're gonna get into the video. See you in a little bit.
We made some tests on resting the tequila in stainless steel tanks and with different proofs. So we chose two proofs, 100 and 108, so 50 and 54. We grabbed 4 samples out of those two proofs, 2 of 50 and 2 of 54. And then one of each, we were resting it for 30 days on the stainless steel tanks, and the other one was unrested. So rested for 30 days, unrested, 50, unrested, and unrested, and 54. And then we blind taste the 4 again Christmas. We had a group of, I think we were like 10. Just blind taste, even like I was not even aware of what I had in my glass, because that's the way to do it. So you have to blind.
Had you been sampling it as you were doing it?
No. I was like, I don't want to be biased. Okay. So like, even me, like I was like, I'm not. So we were guessing, obviously. Like we were guessing, I think this. Oh, you were on one of those sessions, right? Yeah. So we're all managing. And so you were there at the office, right? So we were kind of guessing. You were the one that guessed. Correct. I missed it.
It's my friend.
It's hard because I mean, blind tasting is hard. Basically, you don't know. You just have to watch there. It depends on your palate. It depends on your mood. It depends on what you ate last
So
night.
many variables.
So many variables. So that's the charm of blind tasting. So we did a blind tasting, we guessed, and then we picked our favorite. And across the board, the one that won the blind tasting was the unrested one over. And we did two sessions, two different sessions with different people. Just kind of like to know which one was the one that because of preferred. And again, on the second session that we had, the one that won was the unrested one away. So we're like, okay, that's actually so we chose that one. But who knows for next year edition, we can play with yeast or with different distillation cups, or we have autonomous at the distillery, so we can play with the autonomous as well. So there's still a lot of variables that you can play with, even with Blanco, that then we can release next year. So we're actually actively talking right now for next year. So what are we doing different next year, or if we want to keep it the same? But I know that Highproof people enjoy, just
Kind of the new grade.
yeah. They're not the new anymore. There's a lot of brands that have that, which is great. I love this movement of Highproofs that allows you to educate more on what tequila is, what's the charm of tequila, why tequila tastes different from like one production to another one. So on Highproof, that will explain you a lot on the process, because even if we make the same exact procedure for next year, I'm telling you that it will taste different. Yeah. But that's the charm of tequila. That's the beauty of tequila.
With the agave will be different.
Because the agave will be different, because probably we'll make it in another season and then throughout the year. Because the temperatures are not the same. So we just planted some fruit trees inside the patio of the distillery. So those trees will be bigger, so they will have fruits, so that will probably affect the fermentation process, which is fine. But the fact that many brands are coming out with high groups allows you to explain the general consumer, not people like you guys that know a lot, but the general consumer explain this is how we make it, this is why it tastes the way it tastes, and they have to explain it more. And we can continue growing these crafty ones. So that's why.
Question for you. So if you're not drinking Lalo, you're out and out.
I think that's what you know the time.
What's tequila? What's your go-to kind of tequila if you have the option to get it if you're not drinking Lalo?
My family is from the Highlands, so like I always try to support people from there. A well-made, traditionally made Blanco from the Highlands is my go-to. You name it. There's a lot of good brands out there. Leguas, Ocho, G4, Tesoro, Tio. And across the board, like in different price points, and even the age expressions, which I don't drink. I don't drink anything other than Blanco, but even age expressions are really nice. And if I'm not drinking Lalo, I even enjoy mezcal as well. I love mezcal cocktails. They're really nice, and they bring this smoky character that sometimes you enjoy. So I do enjoy mezcal as well. There's a lot of brands out there. That's the cool thing about agave spirits. That there's a lot of options right now, and you can go and find allocated bottles, or it can be as easy as like we try to like the main thing in Lalo is that we want to make traditionally made, well-made tequila available for everyone. That's why it's priced fairly. That's why the distribution is really good. Like we try to, to bring well-made tequila to the masses with a really nice story, but also with a really nice packaging and with a fresh kind of point of view in agave spirits. And you can go and look for the very hard to find, which that's great. But then if you're like, I just want to have a nice bottle of Blanco that well made.
You just want to stop somewhere, you know it's there, you don't have to hunt it down.
Exactly. And that's what Lalo is about. We want to make it available for everyone. And since we launched it, we have this vision. It took us quite some time to get to every single market in the US, but now that we are available, it's a really big milestone for us. And now it's kind of like maintain those markets, grow them, and keep educating. I think that you made a great on education, and what you guys do on Facebook, and just talk about tequila that really helps. Like consumer to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. That really helps because then people know what they're drinking and what they're putting into their glass. And even if you're drinking in a cocktail, your knowledge is
Yeah, I want the tequila in my mom and my
exactly.
So you've been in the industry basically your whole life. You've been around tequila your whole life. Can you kind of give us a little history?
Background?
Yes.
Yeah. So I grew up in a family. I was lucky enough to grow up on the family that I grew up and having the father that I had and the grandfather that I had. My grandfather started working really young as a janitor at the Tequila distillery, distillery that was in Atotonilco, where he grew up. Atotonilco, El Alto is a small town near Guadalajara, my hometown, that he grew up there, and he grew up in a very poor family, so he started working as a janitor at this Tequila distillery when he was 7. And then 10 years later, when he turned 17, he was able to get a loan from a guy in town and to buy his first distillery when he turned 17 in 1940. So he started making some product in 1942. He started growing. He got married. And my dad came up. But from 1942, 45 years later, in 1987, we were celebrating 45 years of my grandfather's tequila producer. We were throwing a big dinner in Guadalajara. And my father had this idea of honoring his father with a special edition tequila exclusively for this dinner party in Guadalajara. This with the name of his father on the label. And this special edition tequila was Don Julio. So my grandfather was Don Julio, but my father, Eduardo Gonzalez, created the brand Don Julio back in 1987. First of all, as a private batch, just for this party, and but people really enjoyed, the. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna put this here. So that was a big success on this dinner, and people they were asking like that, hey, where can I get this bottle? It's really nice. It was a reposado originally, like a very first version. And my father, this is a fun story. So my father already had the idea of launching a premium brand, but he wanted to learn more and more about distilling techniques and learn more in different distilled spirits. So he moved with my mom and my sister to Kentucky, to Bardstown, Kentucky, in 1985. for like 6 or 9 months. So he was working in bartender brands at the distillery and kind of like just learning more about distillation, distillery techniques, and just kind of like the way they were working at the distillery. Because since then, my dad had this idea of elevating the tequila experience, and he had education. Also. He was like, people, they don't really know like the craftiness behind the agave, the craftiness behind tequila, and I wanna just kind of like launch a brand so that with this brand I can teach people how to, how you make tequila, what the agave is. So since then he had this idea. So it was nothing new for him. That like 2 years later, people they were asking for it. And he was like, I really think I have something special here, so I want to launch this as a brand. So he came with my grandfather, and my grandfather was like, "You're crazy! Like this is not going to work. Like tequila, it's not a premium. There's no such thing as premium tequila. Like like this is not going to work. Like it's very expensive. Like people, like they're not gonna buy it because it's expensive." And my dad was like, "No, like, I really think that we can change the mindset of the consumer in Mexico and in the US." So he eventually launched Don Julio 2 years later in 1989. 1989 is the year I was born. So that's why I always say, like I grew up on this, and I learned a lot from my dad and from my grandfather because that's what they were doing for a living. And I was just kind of like following them in the distillery, walking alongside with them in the agave fields, and kind of like the passion and the love for tequila and for agave really started without me knowing that I would do something with this, So, obviously, Julio was a big success as a brand, and after bouncing around with big conglomerates, we were partners with Redmi, we were partners with Ricard, Seagrams, and when we were with Diageo, we decided to sell our remaining shares of Don Julio, and so we sold Don Julio in 2003. So since 2003, we sold it, and we're no longer created. We don't really run. But I always had this dream and this idea of learning more and putting my own ideas into a world and starting my own thing and kind of like continuing this legacy that my father left. And then my father in the funeral left because my father passed away while I was in Medellin. So that encouraged me when we were to do my thing. So we originally launched Lalo. Between the idea started originally with my childhood friend David in 2015. So we were talking, David called me, he told me, Lalo, guess what? I'm working for the Tequila company now, and I want to know the stories about their family. So we started to chat about tequila, about Mexico, about the lack of Mexican ownership in tequila. That kind of really encouraged us to create something for us, by us, and to create something for our friends and family. So we launched Lalo originally as a private batch for friends and family by accident. The same way the Korea was launched. We didn't even thought about that. We did it because we had a tiny budget, and we were like, okay, let's share it with our friends and see if they like it, and then if it works, then we'll figure it out. So we started showcasing Lalo on private events, weddings, dinners. We were in a big wedding in 2017. We were serving Lalo there, and I met a friend from Texas, from Austin, Jim. I told him the story and the idea behind Lalo, and he was like, Lalo, hold on, is it normal that the grandma of the bride and the girls are drinking straight from the bottle? And I'm like, well, it's pretty normal from Mexican wedding. His point was the tequila is so good, they can't even drink it out of the bottle. And I'm like, yes, you could, but there's many ways of doing it. The main idea of Lalo is It's universal. It's for everyone. You can enjoy it however you like. We are trying to deliver the most universal, traditionally made wine possible. And you were like, that's a great idea. You guys have a great story. You guys have a great product. You guys didn't help me leave myself the last year. So we decided to invite Jim as part of the founders. There were three founders that we did myself. We made some tweaks on the packaging. And a month later from that wedding, I got passed. So that encouraged me even more to, as I mentioned, continue these, to do it the right way. And I was like, the story of the battle, people being the legacy story, my family, I honor both my grandfather. So we eventually launched Lalo in September 2019. So we just turned 5 years. And we launched it in Austin. And since then, big portion of what we do in the market is education. We try to educate consumers on how tequila is made, why Lalo, how we make Lalo, and what's our motivation and my personal motivation behind that. I think that's very important. And my motivation is keeping knowledge and legacy in the family. But doing it right and doing it very intentional. So that's why, I was like, I don't want people just to think like, oh yeah, I can make this tequila because it's randomly is not curious answer, right? No, I mean, yeah, obviously, yes, it's a big portion of it, but also it's about being very thoughtful in the way we do things, and that's why we're focused on that. And I'm not saying that this is the only thing we're going to do in the future, but since we launched, we haven't changed the way we're making it. And we're focused on one single thing because we believe that the aging process of tequila happens on the agave more bar. So that's why that's how I do the idea behind it. Where on the products, it's not. So we launched it, and we're very proud to say that now we've become one of the top selling blancos in the country, with the fourth largest. And this is only like a 5%. So I think it speaks for desire of the consumer to learn more and to have something that that has a story, but also that has consistency with the story. And I think that's very important. You're consistent with your story. If you have a nice story, but then the product is not consistent with your story, then there's a misconnection.
It'll only carry you so far.
Exactly. So I think that's why Lalo turned into what Lalo is right now. We're very happy about it. Oh, a little bit about the production process, that's inside the ball. We only harvest the agaves that we cook for Lalo for the highlights, the region of the highlights. I mentioned earlier that I want to support the people there, but also the flavor profile that they achieve the agaves from the highlights. They're very fruity, they're very agave forward in a way that the natural sweetness comes through. And then during the fermentation and distillation, you can add all these components of minerality and veggie flavor. So we only harvest agaves from the highlands. We take it to the distillery. The distillery is the region of the highlands of well in Aranas. We chop it in 4 parts and we start our hydrolysis process. We turn the starches of the agave into sugar. So when you cook the agave, there's a chemical reaction that happens that the starches turn into sugars. And you want sugars because you want alcohol. The sugars will then turn into alcohol. So we cook it in Greek ovens, slow cooking process, low pressure, 20 to 24 hours of steam, 20 to 24 hours of cooling down in the ovens. Once we finish the cooking process, we extract the sugars out of the cooked agave fibers with water. We press it. And then we rinse it, we wash it during the extraction process with water that comes directly from the distillery, with rich mineral soil in the islands, like 300 liters in the distillery.
Low water.
Low water. So the water helps us to two things. One, how to regulate the sugar content of the fermentable sugars. So more, if you want more water on the roller mill, you have less sugar. If you want less water, you have more sugar. So we try to keep 11 bricks, between 11 and 12 bricks to start the fermentation process. Bricks is the sugar. What is that?